Let me see something. Can I do this? I guess not. I don't know. I'm live right now, and so I'm like trying to figure out my plan with social media, to be honest, because it's on TikTok. I don't even have that many followers over there, but I'm already making a little bit of money over there, and I love YouTube, and maybe I have to switch gears a little bit and maybe do like pre-done stuff. I don't know. I do like living because I get to talk to you guys and we get to share ideas too. So I'm trying to figure out my life with social media. That's the big question. The big question, you know. So there's someone for half a second. And TikTok, I know how to promote it fast too. So, and I have like a lot of pre-film stuff from TikTok, from my lives that I've talked about different things. I try to talk about similar things on YouTube too, because it's two different communities. And so maybe I should start uploading them as shorts. Hi, Helmet. How's it going? How's your life treating ya? How are ya? I'm doing good. I'm just trying to figure out my life. Figure out my plan for these channels. I'm tired, huh? Yeah, I know it's late. It's weird. I have to wake up early, but I'm not sleepy. You know, so I'm trying to figure that out too. Have you heard of the cries of the banshee? Do you know who the banshee is, by the way? I see there's someone else there. Hi. Welcome in. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for the hearts. It does help push out my video. I just started this live, so I appreciate it too. Yeah, good video topic. Okay, so the banshee. Oh my God, this woman is so scary, you guys. So the banshee is this woman with long white hair, okay? And she's actually people actually say that she's quite beautiful. Some people say she's not, but it's because what she means, okay? So this long white hair woman, if you ever see a woman like that in the middle of the dark, crying and howling and crackling, if you're looking out your window and you see her, that's not a good sign. People see her right before death. Sometimes they see the reflection of her in their window. Or sometimes they'll see this woman far away. I would say don't go up to her because maybe the warning's not for you. Maybe it's for someone else. But wherever she is seen, she brings death with her. Even if she looks gorgeous with her white long hair, she's howling and screaming. And you know the scariest part is that she's known to be clapping sometimes, which is so scary. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they'll see her clapping, like howling and clapping. That's very scary. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on the comments. Mr. Cracky13 says, new fan. Welcome to Paulina Enchanted. Yeah. If you guys like spooky content and things, you know, we can share different ideas and stuff, make sure to subscribe. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm doing the social media stuff because I'm also doing TikTok too. So on TikTok, I'm always a vampire. So Helma says, do you plan on making more videos soon? I feel like you would perform on the algorithm. Really? Maybe I should. I've been trying to divide, because I love YouTube, and I love having this community with you guys and living, but I've mostly found more success on the lives with YouTube. With TikTok, I started living more there too. So maybe I should start doing some pre-done. TikTok already have some stuff recorded because it records everything. So maybe I'll upload that. It's just not recorded like on this website. I just have access to it. So I'm trying to figure out. And then on TikTok, I've actually started making money there, which is nice. And then here, I have this community which I love and I'm growing, but I'm not monetized yet. Okay, so Adam says something about peaches. Astrid says hi. Megan says, dude, so I just found out today that Farrah Abraham did a custom scat vid on, oh, I don't know, okay. Man in Van says, hey, Paulina, hey, Man in Van, welcome back again. Welcome back again. Anonymous says, hello from far away, Anonymous, welcome. Cogeneros says, hello. Salty says, nope, I don't have that. Sarah says, okay. Cogeneros says, hello from South America. Helmet says, not too weird. Oh, women usually perform it on thumbnails. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I have to, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing, because I love doing this. I love doing this spooky content and talking to you guys. And on TikTok, I'm more scaring them, because I'm like, vampire. Here we're more, I still share stories over there, but here it's more like a community where we share each other's stories. Like, you guys can tell me about your spooky stories, which I love. Mr. John, that's hilarious. Das Bullying Ninja says, laugh out loud. Crucifix says, hey, it's fine. Alive CS213 says, what's up, Doc? Helmet says, do you need a mod? I don't want to do it permanently, but the chat is getting wild. Yeah, that's very sweet, Helmet. It's not so bad where I'm getting, I got tricked once into reading something really bad, and then now I've been pretty good at it. If it gets crazy, then I'll put someone up, but I think it's fine now. And then also the really, really bad one, it hides it. Like right now it says, there's a hidden message. Would you like to view it? And it's like, when I view it, I'm like, yeah, and then I just hide it. That one was bad. So I just hide it. Christopher says, oh, mine isn't spooky. It's just a little personal. Oh, but go ahead. Tell us your spooky stories. Thank God I have never seen the banshee. We're talking about that. You don't want to see that lady. She brings death. Even though she's beautiful, she still brings death. And then, and she's usually howling. And the clapping thing is creepy. I'm not gonna lie. The clapping thing is creepy. Let me keep reading. Man in Van says, please don't forget to double tap your screen or hit the like button, subscribe, remember. Yes, please. Thank you, Man and Van. And all the hearts. I appreciate it because it pushes my video up the algorithm. I appreciate you guys. Des Blinja says, you guys don't be weird. She's usually best looking out. Oh, so sweet. Desmond says, one. Howard says, what did Great Did get to? What did Great Did get to? I don't know what that means. Christopher says, do you think, girl, I'm talking... something about cuts. Helmet says thumbs up. Okay, no, Caleb. Anonymous says, did you make progress with the astral projection stuff? So I have my life right now has been it's been good, but it's just been a lot. So with for the people who don't know, what the astral projection is when your soul, when there's people who try and work on this, and their soul leaves their body, and then they explore things. You try to go to sleep, but you end up just leaving your body, and your body is resting and your soul leaves. That's astral projection. And I've done it before. It's been years though, and I haven't done it in a while, and I have not meditated. I know we talked about meditating. I've just been busy with it's just a lot. I might be moving, you guys. I think the rent is going down, which is nice. I found like a cheaper place, so I'm very, very, very excited. Where'd you get your GED? La 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 la. I went to high school. Kala says like and subscribe and donate, please. That's very sweet, Kala. So it says hi. So you guys have heard of the banshee lore. What else? Oh, this is the wrong page. I was like, what am I talking about? Oh, I have a really cool like thought experiment. John says, please fart. That's funny. You like to hear people fart, John. So it says, for those who are new, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Yes, please. So, oh, me? I thought you meant you. That's funny. I'm Paulina, and on this channel, I try to cultivate a community where we talk about weird stuff and conspiracies and different points of view, and we might not agree on everything, but that's okay. We just, send love to each other and maybe talk about spooky stories. I like that stuff. I had a really weird thought experiment here that I want to go over with you guys. Howard says a good therapist. Well, you can go see that therapist if you like, Howard. Helmet says, do you ever crack open that huge fairy book? Yes. The Fae. I was actually looking at one of the Fae books. Was it this morning? Yeah, it was this morning. I was like, I want to look at it. No, it was yesterday. Sorry. My days has been like, I've been doing a lot. Yeah, it was yesterday. I was like, it makes me, it's like so colorful. I just love it. Dana says, oh my gosh, remember me. Welcome back, Dana. Oh, hell yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah, thanks. Howard says, for you or for you. Dana said, you just earned a like and subscribe. Oh, thanks. You are so goofed up. Yeah, I'm just a happy person, dude. Okay, so we're going to talk about something very, very scary. Drum roll, please. Ooh! So if you guys can like this and heart it, I would appreciate it because it promotes my channel. But have you guys heard of premature death? So not that long ago, our doctors, like maybe like 100 years ago, there's a lot of issues with people who were quote unquote like they were told that their family member had died, right? Like let's say a horse and buggy hit you, not a car. I mean, there were cars. A horse and buggy hit you, and then you died. And then your family's mourning you, and they have this whole funeral, but you wake up in the middle of the funeral. That's scary. That's a premature death. The doctor said they were dead and they weren't. And they weren't doing embalming. Like this was like, and then also there were people that they would dig up the old graves, and they would pull up the coffins, and they would look at the lids, and they would find scratch marks. Those people died but woke up in their coffin and then died again because they starved to death or suffocated, because they woke up and they had scratch mark and nobody hurt them. So they started doing a practice on putting like a little string in the coffin with a bell on top. So then when they were buried, if the person would wake up, they would go ding 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 ding, and the bell, you would hear the bell. That's how bad it was getting, you guys. That's how bad. It was very scary. Can you imagine? That's so scary. Imagine being stuck there. Like I feel like I had a dream like that as a kid where I was stuck in a coffin and I couldn't get out, and then I was just stuck there. Okay, so let me catch up. Dana says, I love your fit, by the way. Thanks, Dana. Helmet says, has Juan been lurking around recently? I saw him the other day here. I have to like that I was like not doing as many lives, and I have to do more, and I have to, but I'm moving, you guys. Okay, I'm literally the rent has gone down, and I found a cheaper rent. So Dana says, oh my gosh, yes. Desmelina says, oh yeah, the embalming practice wasn't done as often as you'd get buried. Exactly. And that's so scary. Worse. Like, what if they were alive and they got involved and they were dead? Like, oh, it's my fear, bro. Oh my god. Homa says, lead poisoning is a common explanation. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, there was like lead everywhere, right? This one says, sorry, I'll be quiet. I never said be quiet. I love when you guys comment and tell me your perspectives. Like, that's the whole point. I'm trying to cultivate a community, you know? We talk about spooky stuff and we can hear each other's ideas, you know? Dana says, oh my gosh, I know that one. You do? Oh my God. Victor says, hi, Victor. Welcome to the channel. We talk about spooky things and conspiracies, whatever you want. And we share stories. You know, I actually just read a really creepy Reddit story. I'm just going to read the comments real quickly and then I'm going to tell you about Jeremy. Dun, dun, dun. No, I typed that before you finish the story. No, go ahead. Type all you want. If I really want to continue, I'll continue the story and then I'll stop and read the comments. And now it says, imagine getting up during your cremation. Oh my God, that's so scary. Randall says, hi, my name is Randy. Hello, Randy. Welcome. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about Jeremy. Jeremy was not a believer in the dead. I don't know how many people here believe in spirits and ghosts, but Jeremy thought it was all fake. Nothing happens when you die, right, Mr. Jeremy? So he did not listen to his wife and he did not listen to his child. They moved into this new house, okay? And his 4-year-old child would refuse to take baths in the bathtub. And Jeremy was like, why? Like, they were having fights. It was not a problem in their old house, okay? This was like an issue with the parents and the 4-year-old. He did not want to take a bath. And the 4-year-old told the dad, there's always a little boy in the bathtub. Always. And Jeremy was like, no, there's not. I don't believe you, basically, right? You don't, like, a lot of people don't believe kids. And I feel like kids can see a lot. They do makeup a lot too, but they see a lot. The wife, okay? One night, the wife said that she walked by that bathroom, okay? And she saw the little boy in the corner of her eye, too. She's like, I saw him. And he's like, no. You're making that up. Like, your brain's making that up. Gaslighting her, right? And then, okay, let's say she was sleepy, right? And she made that up. And it wasn't, right, it was just her imagination. But her son keeps saying he sees that little boy. Then, another night, they get home. And there are things knocked over in the bathroom and in the kitchen. They don't have a dog. They don't have a cat. And the wife is like, oh my God, it has to be this spirit of this boy. It has to be the spirit. And the husband's like, no, someone came in, blah, 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 blah. There's no evidence of someone coming in. Like, the doors were locked and they unlocked them. There's nothing broken, right? One day, the wife and the child, they leave. I don't know, they're in the park or something. But it's late at night. Or maybe they're at family house. He put on the Reddit story like he just left. They just left, right? The husband is cooking something and he has a large knife, okay? And he's chopping a tomato. He keeps cooking, he puts the knife down. He keeps cooking. He's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna put a timer and I'm gonna go watch some TV. So he goes watch some TV and he starts hearing a noise in the kitchen. The knife. So he's like, let me follow that noise. So he walks to the kitchen. and he sees the knife on the floor. And because he's a skeptic, he tells himself, I must have put it in the corner, it fell. That's it. This shit's not real. Like, my wife is wrong. My kid is wrong. It's not real. He goes and watches TV. He hears more noise in the kitchen. It's like footsteps and like ruckus. He walks back to the kitchen and the knife is across the room. He believes his wife now. Nothing broke in to move your knife, dude. If there's more than one person seeing things, maybe they're not crazy. Maybe you're just not believing them. Dun, dun, dun. Ah! I don't know what happened afterwards because that's where the Reddit story ended. Okay, so I'm gonna catch up in the comments. I hope you liked that. I have more stories. Ooh. Okay, so let's see. So Dana says, guess what the counselor in the office. Helma says, have to head out. Thanks very much. Have a good night. Good evening, Helmet. Something about please fart, John. What the? Victor says, I swear my house is haunted by Indian people. Ooh, why? With Native American people? Tell me. Dana says, what? Renato says, very, very, very beautiful eyes and smile. Aw, thanks. Yeah, my eyes are green. Footwork says, hello, bye, Helmet. Kick says, mi loca. Hello, Clara Sanchez. The Hawk says, hi, beautiful superior white goddess. How are you doing, beautiful? Oh, that's very sweet of you. I'm doing great. I'm telling spooky stories. Randall says, you and very, very, very beautiful eyes and smile. Anonymous is scared of the spooky story. Wayne says, you are looking lovely. I wish you all my love. Thanks. Wayne says, hi. Dana says, okay, what? Guess what the camel said to the office? Hump day. Hump day. Hump day. It's not yet. It's Tuesday. And thanks, Randall. Okay. And then Wayne says, I want to kiss you. I have a boyfriend. Dana says, I got to go because I ate, but I have back. Okay. Life says, hello. Offer you single. I have a boyfriend. Okay. But, so that was Jeremy's story. And also, if you guys like this type of content, where we share spooky stories, ideas, conspiracies, whatever you want, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you can heart this live, I appreciate it because it does help push out my channel. I would love that. And then he says, you're so cute. Oh, thanks. Okay, so I told you Jeremy's story. I have a few other stories here. There was a really scary like North Korean story that gave me chills for like 2 nights. But it's so long. I actually read the whole story in one of my videos. So you can actually find it on my channel. So I definitely recommend it. I read it like a couple years ago, I think. Oh, okay. So this is a weird phenomenon, okay? Where there's like sightings of people who are like frozen. Like this person, I had read this earlier today. He said he was at his grandfather's house and he literally just posted this because it was Labor Day, like today. He's like, I was at my grandparents' house for Labor Day with my fiance and my sister. So while we were there driving back home tonight, we were halfway to my place. I look out the window and notice a group of 20 people standing outside of church in a parking lot. As I'm looking at these people, I notice one girl is mid-walking like an emoji. This is the weird phenomenon, you guys. People keep looking, like they look at somewhere and then there's like a frozen person. And that actually happened to me. And I'll tell you after I've finished reading this, but it's really crazy. She's not moving. I could see her skirt flowing in the wind ever so slightly, but she was frozen. And then look, and I see all the others are completely frozen too. I'm legit baffled. And I start pointing and everyone's like, what? Oh my gosh. I cranked my head to look back and all of them are still standing there, not moved an inch. Even the girl mid-walking hadn't moved. One man even looked like he was mid-talking and hand gesturing. It was like someone pressed a pause on simulation. This happens a couple hours ago and I'm still thinking about it because WTF. I've been on a deep dive on Reddit. So he continues. So this is from Glitch in the Matrix. Successful Current 73. You guys, people keep, and there's like a video of someone looking out the window and there was like a frozen person. She was like grabbing her keys, but she was like frozen, like not moving. I went to Barnes and Nobles the other day, okay? And I was like walking down the aisles and there was this girl. The creepiest part was it was like in that weird like paranormal, spiritual, section, the section I'm talking about? The cultic section. There was this girl that was like this. Like I don't know how to, you don't see me fully. I'm trying to do it. But she had her hands like this but extended up. And she was like, I'm walking and I'm looking down the aisles and all I see is this. Okay, imagine my hands are up like this on both sides, and then my face doing this. And she was there for like 5 to 6 minutes. Like, I was staring at her and I was like, and then I went like this way, the other aisle. And then I kind of came back and she was still there, dead stare, not moved a second. Like a little bit. It was so creepy. It was so creepy. I was like, what this is so weird. And actually, when I had gone there, it was, was I with, like, because, okay, trying to think. This wasn't, it's funny, I went to Barnes & Nobles today, but it wasn't today. It was actually, it wasn't that. I said it a few days ago, but honestly it was more. And the point is, I didn't tell anybody because I was like, what was that, And maybe I should have. Well, I'm telling you guys now. Okay, I'm going to catch up on the comments. Have you guys ever seen, like, a frozen spirit? Okay, let me catch up on the comments. Victor says, random things randomly I fall over and door slam out of nowhere. In your house, Victor? Ooh, that's creepy. Something's trying to send you a message, Victor. Dasblin Ninja says, do you ever go ghost hunting? Yes. Actually, I have 2 jobs. One of my jobs is to go ghost hunting. I do ghost tours, but I incorporate the ghost hunting. People freaking love it. It scares them, and it used to really scare me. Now I'm so unfazed by this stuff because it's like annoying at this. Well, it's like I try to like spread love and positivity so you don't get anything bad, because I had some bad stuff come through. So I like started with like love and goodness, you guys. This tour is love and goodness. You can try to talk to the ghost, but you ain't talking anything else bad. Victor says you should go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. What's in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania? Okay, so you look beautiful. Bless you and your family. Aw, thanks. Okay, what's your work? Well, one of them is to give ghost tours. Dasplania says, oh yes, I read the same story earlier. Laugh out. You did? That's so funny. Everyone's like on it. Lily says, help. Oh no, Lily. Dasplania says, my thoughts were closed mannequins. Oh, I don't think they were mannequins. I think they were people. It's weird. Like, it's not the first time that someone like sees someone and they're like, that person's not moving. They're like mid-movement, like mid-walk, and they're like frozen. It's like they're glitching, It's weird. And I had that experience. Fuber says hi. Daniela says hello. I'm from the Philippines, Filipino and British. That's awesome. Jerry says brows on point. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. Des says hi in Filipino. And says, do you believe that ghost hunting machines work to measure the electronic activity? I think they pick up on a lot of stuff. I've had a few occasions where it's like talking directly to the people. There's one in my ghost tour that so it was like the family was like a mom, a dad, and like a teenage girl, right? I thought she was an adult, but she was like 16, 17. And so the electronic thing kept saying dog. Something about a dog, and I was like, I'm sorry guys, sometimes it'll say things like I have no idea what it's talking about. And then they were like, oh no, show her your leg, show her your leg. And she pulls up her, like, the pants she's wearing, and her legs all, like, bit up. And it's because she just got attacked by a dog. And I've never gotten dog ever again. And they were freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, you got attacked the other day, blah, blah, blah. So things like that. I'm like a little skeptical sometimes. It's funny because I believe in the spiritual realm. I've had experiences, but at the same time, I'm skeptical on some of the devices. But sometimes you get things where it's like, that's pretty accurate, dude. You know, like, ooh. And thanks for the hearts, you guys. Thank you. The more hearts and stuff I appreciate. It helps promote my channel. Victor says Gettysburg is a battle from the Civil War. Really? And oh, so is that place like really haunted because of the battle? And then let me see if we have U.S. Marine unexpected. There's another one where like a lot of people that end up going to like the this one is South Korea. For some reason, South Korea and North Korea have a lot of paranormal stories. North Koreans, obviously, Americans can't go there or shouldn't go there. But the North Korean paranormal stories that I seen, the one was that I read on my channel, that one's really scary. It was like some European people that went, and then had a really scary, like, long fingers under the doors, and like it looked like there was like a dead person in the theater, and people were acting like they didn't see it. Like, it was creepy. There's like it looked like there were like creatures living amongst the people, and then they didn't want to interact with them because they were scared. Like, the North Koreans were told not to interact, to act like they're not there. That's the vibe I got from that encounter that I read on Reddit. And it's on my channel. It's super long, though. Like, it is on my channel. You guys can put it in the background and hear it. Death Ninja says probably a lot of trouble souls in those countries, unfortunately. Yeah. Also, I think because there's so much, like, in every country has good and bad, right? But I feel like the North Korean people are so suppressed that it probably attracts a lot of like bad entities too amongst them, feeding off of that energy. Because that's the thing, like, these negative entities, that's what they do. They feed off of negative energy. So it's good to be like love, light, happiness, and you're protected. You're good. Victor Dunkel says we have a baby monitor, and our baby randomly wakes up in the middle of the night and stares right into the camera with a cold stare. Bro. The baby knows. The baby's like, hey, mom and dad, I see you looking at me. I feel like they know a lot. Children, oh my God, there's so many like children that there's like documentaries on children that like remember like their past lives. They're still like in the brain of the other person. There's like so many popular stories of like, oh, the child was able to find their murderer in their past life and get that guy convicted. Like, it's insane. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that. Which it like interests me. I also like to watch like the near-death experiences. So people who like died and they were brought back to life. Like, let's say your heart stopped and you were brought back to life. That little time frame, oh my, you know how you like you can sleep for 3 minutes, but in your dream it's been 5 hours. It's kind of like that. Some of those people had like a whole experience and then they came back and they were like, the universe is love, God is love, you know. That's what I think, God is love, you know. But I did have an experience with the Holy Spirit, which was really nice too. He's real too. Okay, so this one's a cool one, I think. It says, this will probably get buried, but I used to work the graveyard shift in a very old, big city hospital. Oh my God, imagine working in a hospital. That's scary. One part of it had been built in 1910, And in those days, the nurses wore long white gowns with long white aprons and caps on their heads. Parts of that hospital were known to be haunted, and the 1910 building was no exception. Every once in a while, a patient would call the nurse's station to find out if they could talk to that really nice nurse again. Oh my God, the really nice nurse that roamed the hallways. I'd say, sure, which one? To which the patient would reply, oh, that one on the long white dress. I would then have to tell them that she was elsewhere in the hospital at that moment. And technically, I wasn't lying. We also had the break room phone that would ring randomly during the witching hours, but no one was ever on the other end. It was always just dead silence. That's so creepy. Imagine working like the overnight shift as a nurse. You pick it up and it's always dead, like at 3 a.m. I used to get paged down to the morgue. Nobody ever worked the morgue at night, but I still had to go down to answer the page. And there's nobody there. There was a ghostly pair of legs that would scoot slowly down a particular hallway using a ghostly walker. This operation was completely silent. One particular elevator was inhabited by a benevolent entity that we called George. He ran that elevator up and down all night. Can you imagine? Like, it's so haunted in the hospital you work in as a nurse that you guys are literally naming the ghost. The ghost, the George, that hangs out in the elevator that's constantly pressing the buttons. And the electricity bill. George, oh my God. All night long, randomly stopping at different floors. The elevator doors would open and we'd yell out, "Hi, George." The doors would shut and he'd be off again. I used to apologize to him if I ever had to stand in his corner. Then we were transporting a patient via that elevator. It was always cold in his corner. Ugh. I didn't like the idea of standing on him. Yeah, because you guys are like in the same plane of field. There was a ghost cat down in the maintenance tunnels underneath the hospital. The maintenance guys used to see it so often, and they would always tell me if they spotted it. We also had an annoying thing. Ooh, you have to be careful with the things. That would pound on the break room in the 1910 building at night. The hallway outside the door was long with 0 hiding places. We would open the door and you needed a code to enter, but no one was ever outside. You would close the door and the pounding would happen again. Oh my God. Imagine like you hear pounding on the door, you open it, there's nobody there, and you close it and the pounding starts again. We learned to just ignore it. The ghost was a jerk. Oh my God. At that point, like, it makes you a believer, because my experiences working the graveyard shift in a very old hospital. This is from Ghost of a Black Cat. That's insane. That's insane. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on the comments. So this Blue Ninja says, wasn't a movie about that near-death experiences, but they were doing it on purpose? That's horrible. Please don't do that. There's ways to connect to the spiritual realm, like through astral projection, meditating, without doing that. Oh God. Anonymous, was it a documentary or was it like a fake movie? Anonymous says, I'm like lazy and I feel low energy since 27. Nothing wrong with me physically. I'm afraid it's some leeching energy. Any tips? Maybe an exorcism? There's ways to cleanse your energy. I would say, I did a whole, like, there's one time where I needed cleansing for sure. And I took like rosemary and did a whole like salt bath thing, but it's really the intention you put around your energy. You can do it into a ritual and pray to God or whatever, and you can do it into a ritual and make it into a thing, but you have the power to just fill your realm with love, light, and it pushes all of that out. You know what I mean? You can find like different things online. Bathing with salt and rosemary and just, saging. I use dragon blood sage. That's all ritual really, but you at the end of the day are giving power to these things, right? So just imagine love, light around you, and do whatever you need to do. A ritual can help you, but you're putting that intention in, and praying too. Okay, so Mankin says, wink at the camera if you, oh my God, no, I'm skipping that. Victor Dunkley said, we saw ghosts when we went camping at Gettysburg. Interesting. We were in our tent and we saw Civil War soldier playing drums. The next day, my car battery was dead. It drained your battery? It drained your... What? Oh my God. Playing drums. It's funny. There's in my... So, one of my friends, she bought a house. And she had invited me to stay in her house. And this house was really old. And it was haunted. And I don't think I ever told her. I didn't have the guts to tell her that, because it was an old house, like a fixer-upper house. So I had slept on the sofa with my partner at that time. We went to go see her house, and then she was on the attic area, and there was like the stairs. You go up the stairs, and there's like this little nook, right? And then it's not an attic, sorry, it's her room, and then you would get into the room. That nook had her computer. And all night long, there's something typing on the freaking computer. And I asked her, hey, were you on the computer last night? And she was like, no. And I was like, it was using her computer. The ghost must be recent and knows how to use a computer. I didn't tell her. I didn't have the heart to tell her that she had a ghost in her house. I didn't want to spook her. She was so excited about her new house. Anana says, not the electricity bill. And it was not only me that heard it. My partner heard it too. It was like the typing. Anana says, not the electricity bill. I know. That's so annoying. This freaking ghost in the hospital just playing with the elevator all day long. Are you kidding me? This can run up the electricity bill, Mr. George. All the nurses called him George. That's when it says, it was fiction. My bad. I followed. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that was fiction. Ugly Pirate says, hi, Mr. Pirate. If you guys have any ghost stories or weird paranormal encounter, let me know in the comments here, because that's what we do as this channel. We talk about different spooky things and we share our stories, and I hope you like and subscribe. And thanks for the hearts. It does help push out my channel. Tanya says, very beautiful flowers. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know what that means, but okay. So, I'm seeing another one here by Chrome Light, but let me see if I have. Okay, so this one. This guy says, Victor says, gotta go, bye. Hope you have a great night. Good night, Victor. This guy says, I have plenty of ghost stories, but I will share my mom's because it creeps me out just thinking about it. When she was little, like around 7 years old, she began talking to herself in my grandparents' bedroom. She tells me because she was the youngest of 9 at that time. Oh my God, she was the youngest of 9? No one wanted to play with her, so she opted to doing this to keep herself entertained. So she was just talking to herself in the bedroom. One day, something started to speak back to her. Oh my God, can you imagine talking to the void and you think you're talking to yourself, and then you hear something speaking back to you? It sounded just like her, so she decided that she would keep talking to whatever was hiding behind the dark closet in her room. She kept this up for months. It freaked my grandma out, and finally she had to tell her to stop talking to herself. But when my mom told her that she wasn't talking to herself and that she was talking to a friend, my grandma told her to cut it off immediately. My mom says that she remembers saying, okay, walked into the room, told the shadow she couldn't be its friend anymore, and walked out of the room. Suddenly, as they walked back to the kitchen, she says that they both heard crying from that room. Oh my God, what if it was a little girl? My mom says my grandma got scared and then rounded up everyone that was home, and they went to our great aunt's house. My grandma had the house blessed, and my mom says she didn't feel the presence in my grandparents' room, but my mom was forced to play outside from that day on. Oh my God. It might also have been something bad that was attaching to the little girl, feeding off of the little girl that was lonely. That's an energy, the lonely feeling, right? And then trying to make them feel bad by crying, but it's actually bad. Or maybe it was a little girl from a parallel reality. Maybe it was herself from a parallel reality. And then, so she started crying in that parallel reality, because it could just be herself. Anything is possible at this point. I'm like, ooh. Okay. So, Nana says, bye, Victor. Country Kirby says, oh. Welcome back, Country Kirby. Mr. May says, did you know I am #1 at beer pong? That's awesome. And I can get pizza at $1 slice. It's awesome, Mr. May. Tan Me says, very beautiful eyes, really. Aw, thanks. Have great eyes. Warren says, hey, how are you doing, beautiful? Are you with me? I am here. And Anna says, oh, have one from my mom when she was young. Oh, you do? You have a spooky story from your mom. They had gone to visit their relatives in their village. It was way back when they didn't have telephones, so they just turned up unannounced. And what did they find? Anonymous. Then it says, my dad said the ghost of his uncle used to come sit at the top of his bed after he was killed in a car wreck. Aww, that's kind of sad, but sweet and scary at the same time. It's like a weird blend of mixed feelings for me, and I'm sure for your uncle. I'm sorry for your loss, though. Okay, so while Mr. Anonymous at the foot of the bed, yeah, and it's weird. A lot of like people say they feel entities at the foot of the bed too. Not the top of all, yeah, by his head. Anonymous says, their uncle used to get drunk frequently and sit on the stairs. They said hi to him and went up the house. When they reached, they found out that his uncle had passed away recently. Aww. So he, in a sense, was saying his goodbyes to your family. That's why he was there. That's sad but sweet. At least they were able to see him one last time. If you guys like this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe, because I'm going to keep doing this. And then also, if you can heart the live, it helps push it out more too. I see I have like 21 of you guys right now. So I'm going to read another story. This one's from obviously not Jackie. About 2 years ago, my family was getting our house fumigated because we had bed bugs. Ew. Long story. Anyway, we had put all of our furniture and beds in the backyard. And later that day, after the exterminators left, we came back home and it looked like it was going to rain, so we decided to put our stuff back inside. In the middle of it, it began raining and everyone was rushing to get our shit back inside. My brother was helping me bring my dresser back inside, and as I wiped down my stuff in my room, he'd bring the drawers. At one point, I'm sitting in my room by my door and he's standing on his phone by my door on his phone, okay? Keep in mind, his phone is all volume capacity. I can hear the keyboard and he's typing. He hands me the last drawer and I ask a question about, and he doesn't answer. And then he turns to leave. I was waiting for a response, so I stared at him, but he goes into the bathroom, which is across the hall from me, and there's a huge mirror on the wall, so I can see his reflection where I'm at. I'm staring because he didn't reply, and after a few seconds, I get confused because he didn't turn on the light, didn't shut the door, and in fact, it was silent. No keyboard sounds. I walk in and he's not there. No sign of it either, and I didn't imagine it because I saw him, because he literally looked away once, and my sister actually. That's so creepy. So she thought his brother, her brother was helping her bring her stuff in, and he's typing, and he literally helps bring this drawer in and then walks away, and he walks into a dark room, and then she's like, what the heck? He didn't turn on the light or anything. And then when she gets there, he's gone. It's not him. Dun dun dun. Okay, that wasn't so scary. Okay. So that's what it says. I'm 99% sure I saw a ghost at work back in college. Tell me about it. Anonymous says, oh. Alice says, astral projection. Yes, I've done it. Have you? Can I look at your eyes? Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's my eyes. Tame. So, oh, I do have a creepy story on, like, work, like, seeing a ghost at work. Bruce Wayne the Grey says, Vampire Lady. Yes, I've sucked in my fans today. Welcome back. And thanks for the hearts, you guys. If you guys can keep partying the live, I appreciate it because it does push it to the algorithm. Where it says, you do have beautiful eyes. My goodness. Oh, thanks. Okay, I'm going to try to find a creepier one because that one wasn't that creepy. That one was like, oh, she saw the ghost of her brother that helped her. Which is, and he wasn't even dead. So it was something else. It was literally something else that took his form and helped her move things. Which is kind of nice for a paranormal thing to do that. So, let's see if I can find. Oh, thanks for the hearts, you guys. Can you speak Malay? I cannot. So, this one's good. When I worked on a reserve, I was doing some yard work at the youth care faculty. I was completely alone. It was just turning to winter, and I didn't expect for nightfall as quickly as it did. This house is 15 minutes away drive from any town, very rural. So he's working in a very rural house in an old farmland. I had to bring the leaves I was raking to the edge of the small cliff at the edge of the property. On the other side of the small cliff is a forest. As I brought the wheelbarrow to dump the leaves, clear as effing day, something right in front of me whistles at me from the darkness. It goes in from the forest. That's so creepy. Like the call you would get to someone's attention. I froze, then backed up while watching the tree line before turning and effing running. Waited till more staff got on, but I finished the job. The creepiest thing is that the nation believes you never whistle after dark. So who was it whistling? Who the F was whistling at me? That's really creepy. Can you imagine you're like by a forest and there's something in the forest whistling at you, calling your name. You know skinwalkers? They love being in the forest. They'll call you out by names. You come in so they can devour you. And they'll sound like your family members, but they're not. Des Blue Ninja says, you can look up Butterfield Youth Services. Sometimes there's a cool movie about it. Laugh out. But anyways, it's supposedly haunted by the original owner, but in a good way. Oh, that's nice. Like he's looking over the place. I saw him walking down the hall while I was mopping the kitchen floor once. Really? That's actually pretty interesting. There are like good spirits that haunt places that like protect it, you know? Which is kind of nice. There's like there on the ghost tour I give, there's like a really cool one that like helps people out. Tammy says, please one day come wearing no makeup on eyes in front of camera. They're beautiful and real. Aw, so sweet. I just like wearing glitter on my eyes because it's nice. But I mean, it's still my eyes, so I can't put stuff in my eye. Okay, what was I gonna say? So, besides that, I think I'm probably gonna hit the hay. I do have to wake up tomorrow, but for work, not sleepy. I'm just not sleepy. I don't know what it is. Anyways, good night, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful time, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.